What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's enjoying the Monday night game. With me saying that, you're only really enjoying the Monday night game if you're a Bills fan. I was thinking about just doing this episode at halftime because I had a feeling this game was over, and now with the Bills up 31-10, and Tua just got knocked out by a concussion. Yeah, it's time to do this video. So, before we get into this now, as you can see at the top, I did not have the time to make a deposit. I was busy doing lineups, 25 max, 20 max. I won about 13 satellite tickets, so I was trying to get different with those. And then FanDuel was trying to fill the contest, so FanDuel threw another 3 tickets at me last minute. So I never got a chance to put in the picks that I recommended to you guys. But I saw some of my stuff, a good amount of my stuff hit that I either mentioned or mentioned that were my top picks. And then, a couple missed. Let's go over the two that missed. Obviously, I can't go over the stats here because it's not on the card. But what I have in my notes, first two things that, saddened me that missed, obviously the Russell Wilson, that was one of those, you could take a pick on, but, he didn't play. Then the Devontae Adams and Pittman went way under. But the picks that I hope the ones that you did tail, or maybe you didn't take all those picks and maybe you picked the other ones and maybe parlay those. Mike Evans, both the options that I gave you, he went for 2 touchdowns. He got over the .5 rushing receiving TDs. He also got over 69.5 yards. Kenneth Walker went over the 63.5 yards. I mentioned that one. Another one that I mentioned, Najee Harris. He got over the 8.5 receiving yards with the checkdowns. He barely got over, but he got there. Travis Etienne, he went over the .5 TD. So if you got some of those, then your card probably did look nice. And also the one I told you to look out for, I told you he would be the more trusted wide receiver with Kyler Murray. Yes, Michael Wilson got the touchdown, but guess what? You didn't need him because that was his only catch on 2 targets. Greg Dortch, on the other hand, who had a 2.5 prop that went up to 3 and a 27.5 yardage prop, he ended up with 6 catches for 47 yards. So, no, not even. I don't even think it was 47 yards. I think Greg Dortch had over 50 yards. But either way, either one of those props hit. So I hope some of those did help you guys cash. I hope. I hope it did. But now let's get into this week's picks. I really wanted to do and finish up the running backs and defense, but I could do that tomorrow. I really wanted to get these picks here. I really haven't looked at Underdog Fantasy until from last night till today, so the ones that I like didn't really move. But I think this is one of those simpler weeks where I'm just gonna go straight forward with you guys and let you know what I like. So as I look at some stuff here real quick. I was right. Greg Dortch did catch. I just wanted to make sure because I'm not trying to hear, lie to you guys, whatever. Like I said, the first two things I knew that missed was Adams and Pittman. But there was a lot that I picked that I got right from last week's video. So my Greg Dortch pick, he got 6 catches on 8 targets for 47 yards. So yes, both props he beat. So let's get into the nitty gritty. We'll go with what I like here. Let's just go with my grade A picks. Like I said, one of my favorite 3 picks of the week. I'm sorry, guys. It's probably not that creative. But let's just be real. You hit these and you should have a decent card. It all depends on what you put on it. I'm going Derrick Henry higher than .5 rush and receiving TDs. Not only is he in a good game script, but Lamar Jackson has shown that he's willing to throw him the ball. So in a game that he's going to be ahead, Derrick Henry will be in that game milking the clock away. He's going to have a lot of goal line looks. He's going to have a great opportunity to go over that prop. So we'll select that. Yeah, we'll go for the higher there. Oh, wow. I still got a whole bunch of other stuff here. I was messing around with this stuff, y'all. I'm sorry. But, yeah, you can see right here what are some of my grade A picks are. So let me just take away a couple of things here. And I'll just leave my grade A picks, and I'll tell you why I like some of these other picks later. On top of that, my next grade A pick, Breece Hall. Like I said, you heard me in my fantasy review. Tennessee's defense is not that good. They play a stank-ass offense. Breece Hall does catch screen passes. He has a bigger volume of catching screen passes than Derrick Henry. So why not him, with his rushing ability, get a touchdown? So we'll go there for his touchdown. Jaden Daniels, He's going to get a lot of opportunity. Now, will he be forced to run like he did with Tampa Bay if he can't find nobody? Giants defense is horrific. Giants defense, Tampa Bay's defense is, like I said, their front seven is still decent. You can still attack the back four. The problem was Jaden Daniels still not to snuff with throwing the ball. As you know, that was a very inadequate offense and an inept team against Tampa Bay. But against the Giants, I could definitely see him still scrambling, getting at least one touchdown. I don't see him getting two, but all we need is one next week. Against the Giants, he could definitely get that. That's my 3 grade A picks. Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Jaden Daniels, all over 0.5 touchdowns. I also like Anthony Richardson. That's more like A minus, I guess you could say. I really think it's an A. Everything else there is an A plus. Anthony Richardson, because he's gonna have a lot of opportunities. Malik Willis, not really that good. So I think besides getting or making a possibly inept Green Bay offense going 3 and out a lot, or if they could turn them over, that could also help. But I like the fact that he will tuck it down and run. That's why I put Anthony Richardson here. But I did not put. Now, it's still a good pick. I just don't think it's as strong as a pick because he could still get vultured. And what I mean is, by this man right here, Jonathan Taylor, he has it. And like I said, there's no multiplier at all. It's just straight up yes or no. We're here for the higher percentage plays. I like, even though, like, yes, Jonathan Taylor's kind of in the Derrick Henry situation, we got a feeling that, Lamar's going to probably hand the ball off. And I think Lamar's going to probably do some play action and help Mark Andrews bounce back. Like I said, it's just one of those narratives that I think is going to happen. But Jonathan is not a bad pick. I'm just thinking if you're going to pick anybody to score a TD from the Colts, it would be him number one, and then he'd be like a 1B, not even a 1A, 1B. I think Richardson is like a number one, and then after that, you have Jonathan Taylor as like a 1C, number two, because like I said, he could get vultured. Now, for those other picks that I think are still interesting to pick in a high volume game, I'm still gonna pick my boy, Greg Dortch. I'm not gonna go with the TDs, obviously. But I will still take the 3 receptions, and I will still take the 30.5 receiving yards. I would definitely, I honestly think you could take either or. You make me pick, fine. I think the fact that Greg Dortch can get into the slot and attack the slot against, not the best defense in the world, I think the opportunity is there for the over 30.5 yards. But I think Greg Dortch, if you make me coin flip, I think I would I bump this to... Could I bump this to, or if you make it higher than 2.5, you could get like a half, somewhat of a multiplier if you play around with it. But if you made me do this, what would you make me do? I guess higher than 30.5. 30.5 receiving yards, I think it's a nice play. And then when it comes to the theme of bouncing back, I definitely like, even though people think it's going to be a Breece Hall day, he does pass the ball to Breece Hall. So he's this is a A-B plus pick. Because of the narrative that game, like I said, you know me, if you heard my videos, once again, I'll repeat it again. Against Washington, against Tampa Bay, against Tennessee, you attack that defensive backfield. Now, you have an explosive runner like Breece Hall. Breece Hall could take a screen pass to the house. I think he could also get some TD passes to maybe Lazard and definitely Garrett Wilson. It's not a grade A, but I think it's an A-B++. I like Aaron Rodgers with this game narrative to get at least 2 touchdown passes. So, if you take all those, and then of course passing TDs and same rush TDs can't be combined. So, I think you will have to take out the Aaron Rodgers because we got the Breece Hall in there. Yeah, so that won't work. But you can still use the pick. But if you want to use these 5, I think, these 5 are looking at 7.96. So you can't use the Aaron Rodgers one, but I guess if you do it standard, there's a bigger multiplier. Obviously, if you flex it, 7.96. But if you standard this, and it's a basic 10, 159, basically 160, or well, no, if you round down, it's 159. You flex it, it's only $79 at $10. But like I said, a win is a win here. But those are my top picks for this week. Like I said, we had to take out we had to take out one pick because of their rules. The Breece Hall and Aaron Rodgers will kind of like stack up with each other because obviously a rush plus receiving TD, he could catch that from Rodgers, so he'll get one, and then Rodgers will have one, and then Rodgers will have the rest of the game to either give it to Breece Hall again, maybe Tyler Conklin, anybody else that he decides to throw the ball to. But that's my quick rundown for this week's grade A picks on Underdog Fantasy. Hopefully, like I said, so far when it comes to most of these picks, what am I this week? When I look at last week, Mike Evans, Kenneth Walker, Najee Harris, ETN, and I also mentioned Greg Dortch. So right now on the season, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2. Is that fair to say? Yeah. ETN, Harris, that's 2. Dortch, either one of those picks. I'm not going to count that as 3 and 4. You only pick one, so let's just say 3. Kenneth Walker and Mike Evans. Because I had Mike Evans for both over. I just said it was probably easier to get the yardage, but the TD was probably the better pick because I think the TD was the one with the multiplier. But so far, not too bad. I'll take the 5-2 record early. So let's hopefully we take no L's today. And like I said, if you don't want the Breece Hall, any of these picks that I like, maybe you don't feel comfortable picking Greg Dortch this week, or maybe you don't want Breece Hall. Maybe you want to take Aaron Rodgers, because if you take Breece Hall out, let's play with the numbers here. It's only 0.8 higher, 0.8 of a multiplier. So if you go back down to your picks, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, the multiplier is high because it's a full 1.4. So if we go back here, standard is now 20.7, and a $10 entry win you 207. A flex will win you 103.50. So now I just showed you something. So now if you don't want the Breece Hall, but you think Aaron Rodgers can throw the 2 TDs, you're maximizing your output by taking out Breece Hall, which betting markets are thinking that's an easy go. And, because he started slow, you can still get a decent multiplier with Aaron Rodgers. So there you go. So thank you for tuning in to Grade A Flicks for another episode of Grade A Fantasy on Underdog Fantasy. Tomorrow, I will conclude the Week 2 preview with both the defense and the running backs. I just wanted to get this video out so I didn't have to backlog myself with 3 videos. This weekend, I'll be a little bit busy with family on Saturday, so I will be knocking out those videos and mostly lineup building Friday, Saturday afternoon, early Saturday afternoon, and then like I did last week, Sunday. So hopefully you tail these. Hopefully everything works out well. This is Grade A Fantasy, signing off.